70% of organizational transformations fail. Companies spend millions rolling out a new software system or restructuring their entire org chart, and then declare victory. But shortly after go-live, the momentum often grinds to a halt. The problem is a fatal gap between installation and implementation. Installation means a new process is technically in place. Implementation means the target population has actually changed their behavior. Without that behavioral shift, employees quietly return to their old habits because the new system is too disruptive to sustain. Modern organizations are navigating the fourth industrial revolution, a landscape of complex socio-technical ecosystems. In this environment, the capacity for disruptive transformation is a strict requirement for basic survival. Historically, leadership teams tried to execute these shifts using siloed tools. They treated the technical side of the business and the cultural side as two separate entities that didn't need to communicate. The IT department lived in one silo. They used enterprise architecture to build rigid blueprints of systems and data flows. But these early methods, born in the era of the IBM mainframe, focused solely on technical alignment, making sure machines worked regardless of the people using them. The executives lived in another. They relied on quality frameworks to talk about culture and leadership. These were powerful tools for setting a vision, but they lacked the operational granularity required to implement actual structural change. Without a link between these two disciplines, strategy never translates into operational reality. The organization ends up with a steering wheel, but no transmission. Enterprise architecture provides the engineering blueprints for an organization. It maps every business process, information system, and piece of technology infrastructure to show exactly how the parts fit together. Methodologies like TOGAF allow architects to map the current as-is state and design the desired to-be grid. It defines the who, where, when, and how of the organization's structural transition. However, traditional architecture relies too heavily on hard alignment. It prioritizes technology and processes while neglecting the human behaviors that actually drive the system. Structural alignment is moot if the culture isn't prepared for the shift. A perfect blueprint cannot execute itself if the organization's people aren't ready to move. This is where the EFQM 2020 model enters the equation. If enterprise architecture maps the parts, EFQM acts as the normative layer that evaluates how effectively those parts function. This document shows average scoring profiles across the EFQM criteria. It organizes excellence into direction, execution, and results. By emphasizing leadership and stakeholder needs, EFQM anchors strategy in the culture, ensuring the executive's intent reaches the people doing the work. It uses an assessment logic called radar to diagnose the strength of a company's approach, measuring how it's deployed and how those methods are refined over time. The framework provides the performance logic and cultural values needed to make those structural blueprints deliver actual value to stakeholders. Merging these two domains creates a holistic management information system. Enterprise architecture acts as the descriptive layer, identifying the interrelated parts, while EFQM evaluates their maturity and impact. Take a sustainability goal. EFQM sets the strategy for reducing resource consumption. Enterprise architecture engineers the data nodes to track that consumption. Integrating KPIs directly into the architecture allows for precise adjustments. When gaps appear, leadership traces them back to the technical root cause. Combining the phases of architectural development with the EFQM dimensions allows organizations to create comprehensive roadmaps that manage both technical migration and cultural adoption. This powerful synergy enables a management information system where radical transformation and outstanding current performance can happen simultaneously. Value creation becomes a mapped technical capability supported by an aligned, empathetic culture. Strategy is no longer abstract, it is an engineered reality. The next evolution involves integrating AI-based systems, like retrieval-augmented generation, into these architectural practices. This makes capability mapping significantly more agile. This chart shows how an AI-driven engine allows organizations to test what-if scenarios in real time. Leaders can simulate the impact of disruptive changes and see how their performance scores would shift before implementation begins. This integrated approach models the environmental and social impact of every business process, ensuring long-term viability alongside immediate growth. Organizational excellence and enterprise architecture are the two halves of the same engine. They are the structural and cultural requirements for any business hoping to survive the digital age.